Welcome. Welcome to the Love and Pain podcast, where the Love Doctor and I talk about love, relationships, and everything in between. I'm your resident single lady advisor, Pain, who is an experienced single lady on a quest for balance. And this is a Love Doctor. Take it away, Chuck.
What's happening, everybody? First of all, I just want to say that, and we need to say this more. Black women, you are beautiful. Not only are you beautiful, you are the most beautiful women in the world. But our society has put us against each other as a whole, and we're not in our right space right now. We're not in our very nature. When you look at children and I even look at my daughters, right? When they're young, they're so sweet, so innocent, so pure. And they're just such sweethearts when they're younger. But as they start to get older and they start to interact more with society, they start running their mouth. My nephews, like I said, they was cool. And then, you start gang banging and things like that when they get older, start carrying guns, using drugs and things like that. And that's not really how they are at heart. And we need to do more. Like I said, I'm tired of us just being against each other when we should be helping each other. And this is part of the reason why we can't get ahead as a society, because we always battling each other, saying that this person ain't that, this person ain't that. And I'm just tired of it. I really am. And I just want to just let you know that you are beautiful. And like I said, a wise man once said that if you put a cucumber in vinegar, pretty soon it's going to turn into pretty soon it's going to turn into a pickle. You know what I'm saying? Because the environment will start seeping inside of it and it will turn that cucumber into a pickle. And that's what it is with society. It creeps into you subconsciously and you become something that you're not. All
right. Was that the end?
That was the end. That was my little soliloquy today. That was my little soliloquy today. I had to say it, man. Hey. I'm just keeping it 100. Like I said, look, man, we ain't got no reason. We keeping it 100%. We ain't got no reason to lie to nobody or to act like we something that we're not. I'm just trying to tell you, I got daughters. I got plenty of nieces and things like that. Black women, you are beautiful. And I just want you to accept that. You know what I'm saying? And fellas, we got to start, accepting that too. We know they fine. Like, come on now. But black women are fine. But, but like I said, when they start running their mouth, when we start acting different, we're just put against each other. And I'm just tired of that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the black man and the black woman, that's all we got. So we got to start treating each other a little bit better. So, like I said, we find solutions during, like I said, I'm a former guy that was out here in these streets. And I used to shuffle different women or whatever until I got in my right mind. And I said, hey, it's time for me to get my things right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like I said, we find solutions on this channel and just keep tuning in. And like I said, we going to get to the bottom of it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. There's a pleasantries today. I love it. Thank you. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe and please hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on all the new content we release. So let's get into it. How's it going, Chuck? What's new in your world?
Oh, everything is going fine. The weather's starting to change a little bit. We out here in Vegas. We kind of had similar weather than what you guys had. It seems like, every time I talk to my mom or my family back in Ohio, y'all got basically the same weather we got. So, right now it's mid 70s. And it's beautiful out here. It's nice. I'm enjoying the weather.
Awesome. And if you're wondering why my background looks a little different, I am in San Diego. So I'm in Chuck's neighborhood.
Oh, she in the Southwest. Uh-oh.
Southwest. I'm over here and it's so cool. It's so nice. Beautiful sun. When we get done here, I'm gonna hit the streets, but it's been really, really nice. So nice. The time changed a little different. So I was up all night. And I'm sure I'm gonna be screwed when I go home. But it's all in the name of fun, right?
Right, that's right. Shoot, and hey, enjoy it. Shoot, hey, man, you out here. I'm telling you, San Diego has the most consistent good weather. It's always like a springtime weather. Like they always have it's normally in the high 60s, to mid 70s and it's low humidity. And you can just sit out there on the beach all day, man. So, man, enjoy that while you're out there. I don't know if you hitting the beach or not, but man, that weather alone and that scenery, man. Woo.
That is the goal. That is the goal to try to get out there. It's probably like a little late to go into the pool by the time I leave here. But tomorrow I'm starting my day right there. I got my swimsuit. They about to get all these rolls, baby. I'm gonna be out here.
I heard that.
anything popping in the news, sir? Anything going on?
Yeah, a couple things. We go over a couple things. The first thing, as we all know, OJ Simpson died last week at the age of 76. A lot of people have mixed feelings about it. Some people were rejoicing that he passed away. Overall, the way I look at the situation is that it was just a lot of he had a great talent, great charisma, and I think that he just got, I do actually, the way he acts, I actually do believe he probably did it. You know what I'm saying? He was capable. If he didn't do it, he was capable. You know what I'm saying? But he set himself up, man. Like, he was older guy. He was in his mid 40s, and she was like in her 20s. And, he was, she used him for some money, basically. I mean, he married a waitress. She was a waitress when he met her. And, and she was a blonde and things like that, things that people hold in high regard. And I thought, like I said, I think he kind of lost track of who he was after a while. Like, not the fact that he just had a Caucasian woman, but, they always, told him, about him being a black anchor. And he was, one of his famous statements was, "I'm not black, I'm OJ." That was one of the things that he said. So he thought he had surpassed being black. But like I said, when all this went down, black people were supporting him. The other people were not supporting him. Like, you always going to be black first and then whatever you are second. So don't never forget who you are as a person, whatever race you are. You know what I'm saying? Don't never think that you're better than what you came from. Cause like, and the messed up thing about that is that was OJ Simpson's book was the first book that I ever read as a kid, like other than children's books. But when I was in the third grade, I actually read his biography. His whole biography when I was in the third, and it was very interesting seeing him growing up poor in Palo Alto, California, and how he just overcame different things and went to the NFL. So he grew up dirt poor. So for him to grow up dirt poor and then act like you better than something, I just had a problem with that. I really do. Just be who you are. You know what I'm saying? That's why people voted for Obama, because he never acted like he was better. He had a black wife, and he didn't act like he was something other than what he was. He was genuine. So, so I'll give him, all props, Obama, all props for that. But OJ, yeah, he, I think he's lost track of who he was, and, and it caught up to him.
Yeah, he was out here wilding too, and he made a whole entire book talking about if I had did it. Like, who?
I've seen that. I didn't read that one.
Oh my goodness. Like, you really don't want to be I guess his image had been just soiled so poorly by that time. He didn't care. There was nothing for him to really save or salvage, So, but yeah,
he was trolling. He was trolling at that point.
Oh, he for sure was trolling.
Right.
What else you got?
And then on another thing, Michael Jackson's youngest son, Blanket, is at odds with Michael Jackson's mother, Catherine. The executors want to sell Michael Jackson's catalog for $600 million. And they went and objected in front of the judge, him with Catherine. And so after the judge ruled in favor of the executors, and the executors are the people that are in charge of Michael Jackson's estate, they make sure they disperse the money properly to the children, to the family and whatnot. So no one goes in there and just grabs all the money and runs. So, and these are normally a group of lawyers or somebody that has been named in charge of Michael Jackson's estate, which is, like I said, it's a shame. But so now Catherine's still trying to fight it. And Blanket doesn't want her to spend any more money on lawyers to fight it. He just wants to say, hey, okay, they won. Let's get our $600 million and go. I think personally they should keep that catalog because Michael Jackson stuff is timeless, man. You could pass that on forever. There will never be another Michael Jackson. And for them to sell it for $600 million, I think, man, that's cheap. I'm serious, man, because his music will last. Like when I grew up in the 80s, I was in middle school. I'm talking about, listen, in middle school, we used to play the Thriller video every Friday, and we used to have to pay like $1 to see it in the gymnasium, and they would show the Thriller video. They did it for like 3 months, and they would just show the Thriller video in the gymnasium. That I ain't never known nobody that large how like Michael Jackson was. I'm serious. That it was ridiculous, and that was back then. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think, like I said, they got off cheap. They sold themselves cheap for that $600 million.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with what was going on, but I do agree if they can hold on to it. And I guess it's one of those things where it's like it's none of my business, so I can't really talk to it. But I'm curious as to why he would sell it. Like, is there a lot of debt that they're trying to satisfy, or what would be the reason? Because he could potentially, that's a long-term earning potential. Everybody would want to use his music. Now they're going to use Michael Jackson music for everything, like just anything, bullshit, anything. So I would want to keep that in the family.
Right. That's real, So I don't know. I mean, and you see it a lot. Like sometimes when the parents, like, they're self-made and they built themselves up, then when the next generation comes, they've already been rich all their lives. They tend to blow the money that the parents have earned from scratch. So, he might go out there and buy him $100 million yacht or something or whatever. I'm telling you. So these things happen all the time when it comes to money. A lot of times they don't teach the children how to manage funds, and it ends up blowing all the money that had been made during the person's lifetime. It happened like I ain't gonna go into, but in my family, something happened with my grandmother's house that I didn't agree with, and they sold her house and everything. And I was like, I mean, but I'm, like I said, I'm the grandson. I'm not the son, so I couldn't do anything about it. But these are things that happen all the time in our society.
Jeez. Okay. Anything else for us in the news realm? Because you got some.
That's it.
I'm like, wow, you got some bangers this week.
But yeah, those are the two. I mean, because those are two people that that one of the icons. OJ, he became infamous, but before then he was like one of the top dogs. I mean, for real, like he was on his way, but he just he got emotional and he thought he was more than what he was. You know what I'm saying? And he got caught up.
See, by the time I got him around with the OJ, he was starring in those naked gun films.
Naked Guns.
Yes, I didn't know OJ, and then after that, it was like he was in that Bronco chase. I didn't understand as a kid, like, why is he in that car? But I didn't know this dude was out here murking women. So that was an interesting way for me to get introduced to the juice known as OJ. But speaking of knowing when a relationship is at its end, what's today's topic, Love Doctor?
Okay. Now, remember, before I get into this topic, I just want to make a disclosure that some of these signs are contingent upon if someone is doing these things because there's a behavior, or if it's because they genuinely have feelings and they only do it because you're someone's specialty. Okay. All right. Now, in our search for love, we're taking out a big risk. We can never actually know if it's going to work out or not. It's a risk. And holding on to someone too long can cause more drama. It could cause it to be more toxic. It could cause abuse. And you could actually miss out on the person that might be meant for you if you still hold on to a relationship that's really a lamed up relationship. It's not going to last that long. Okay. So it's more important not only that you, of course, try to find your person, but it's more important that you find out when the relationship is over. Okay. So we're going to go over a couple signs today just to go over, and maybe some of you guys are going through this now or have done it in the past. We just want to throw some of these signs out there. And like I said, we want you guys to comment on some of these issues. And like I said, a lot of these are based on my personal experiences that I've seen firsthand. So I can talk about this, I can talk about it intelligently because I've been through it. I've been through a lot of these, okay?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Anyway, okay. The first example, and I'll say that like the main example, and we could talk about it, is a lack of intimacy. Now, when one or both stops having sex, and that thing, you're normally having a sexual, you have sexual chemistry, and then all of a sudden it stops, and some people starts holding back, then that could be one of the first signs that somebody is the relationship might be over because they don't want to be intimate with you. Like I said, me, I really seldomly had this type of problem out of a female. It would be me, because for me, I never like valued, like I've never been a person that was thirsty for sex. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll get it in, but I never let you know, like, and so you can hold that against me. So if we having problems, you still gonna give me sex because you trying to get your rocks off too. So sometimes people do hold back with sex, and that could be a sign of that. Hey, man, their mind isn't in it. They don't want to be close to you and things like that. But again, this is only contingent upon if this is a behavior or if this is actual feeling. Some people are nymphomaniacs, and this is a behavior. They will have sex because they need to get their fix on. Like I said before, it ain't got nothing to do with if they're down on a relationship or whatever the case may be. They may have sex with you all the way up until the end, and then but their mind might be somewhere else. So, but this is definitely a symptom. If they've already been having sex with you and they start holding back on sex, that lack of intimacy is one of the first things that I think we should talk about. What about you?
I will also add to that, and not just lack of intimacy, because I've been the number one. Like, that's the quickest way for me to show that I am dissatisfied with this relationship. Not only the amount of intimacy, the amount of sex, but the enthusiasm with sex. Like, when someone is really interested in you and they like really enjoy the sex. So it's like I want this for both of us. But when you see it's consistently like no interest in it, and they're having sex with you, like, you don't have to beg for it. Whenever you're ready, they'll do it. But they're just like, they're missing that little spark that used to be there. They have no intention of trying to bring it back. And they also don't initiate it with you. So you're always initiated, and they never initiated with you. They're not really interested in the sex, bro.
I mean, I see what you're saying on certain levels, but I mean, you got to understand, as the relationship progresses, you're normally unless, like I said, you guys are just like chemistry, just amazing, and you doing stuff. Once you settle down into what the relationship is, normally the sex starts dwindling down naturally anyway, because you start getting into real issues. And like I said, the relationship gets more grown. When you first start off, everything is on physical, emotional, and things like that. But when you start getting into the real stuff, when you're talking about bills, you're talking about health things, family, and you're trying to build, you're trying to do things in life together, then a lot of times sex will come, organically, but it's not like the same as it was in the beginning. Because, when in the beginning you're new, what I'm saying? It's oh man, this is some great stuff. We got this connection and things like that. And this is how we connect. But as the relationship grows, you find different ways of connecting with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like me and my wife, like we'll cook, like we cook things, you do things in the kitchen, we'll cook, or we'll do like we might we watch movies together and just be clowning and stuff like that. We're intimate on those type of levels as well. So we don't always have to necessarily have sexual contact to have intimacy, because you just start building as a couple, and you start doing other things that that are satisfying in that relationship. Now, like I said, sex does become a need. You of course you get it in, but it's not as it is in the beginning, because the relationship actually grows and progresses, into different areas.
Right. And not to say that it's going to be the same as at the beginning. That's not what I'm saying. There's a difference in your wife looking at sex, or your girl looking at the sex each and every time as something that she doesn't want to do with you. So she's not really that interested. She's not really that focused in having that connection with you each and every time. I'm not talking about 2 days is great and then 3 days you're off, because it's still there. There's a mixture. But when it's consistent, and you're always, as the man, asking for it, and this is me talking to women, and you're always, as the man, always asking her, always trying to get her to do it, and she's not really interested in you, it's a disconnect. You're in trouble. You are in trouble. And I would think it's not the same thing for a man.
Uh-oh, did we lose her? Where you at, Champagne?
Something's
Uh-oh,
amiss.
you was breaking up. You said you
Oh,
can imagine that it's not what now for a man?
For men, like if you're never asking your girl for sex, like never, and she's always initiating it, and you just do it because you know the difference between this is we've been in together for years sex and we're just broken in sex versus
Mhm.
here nigga you can have it sex each and every time.
Well, see, look, this is my take on that too. Like I told you about,
uh,
um, I'd never really had problems about having sex or being withheld from me. It's because, like I said, even when you're in a relationship, you got to have some type of discipline. If you acting thirsty in your relationship and you always trying to pressure the girl for sex, and every time she come in, you trying to have sex with her, then after a while, sex becomes it devalues itself because you thirsty and she might not want to do it all the time, or vice versa. I've had women that just all over me, like, calm down, hold on, it's going to happen. Relax, we going to do it. You know what I'm saying? But so it becomes a turnoff. So I wouldn't necessarily say that in that case that it's a sign of relationship is in it. It's just that you acting thirsty and you need to just calm down a little bit and just let it happen. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, after a while, when you're around somebody for a long time, then things just happen a little bit differently than they did in the beginning. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but I don't think that necessarily the end all be all to the situation. Are you still with me? It looked like her frame is frozen or something. Like I said, Champagne's in San Diego right now, and so her internet connection might not be how it was. Okay, hold on. You back? You with me? Uh oh. Okay. We completely lost, but I'm gonna keep on talking about it until she comes back. I know she'll come back. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, like, relationships just change, they evolve into what it's going to be. Like I said in the beginning, things are very highly emotional, and you two are, trying to express, your feelings, and the energy is really up high and everything in the beginning because you just want to show your affection, and like I said, um the infatuation is at its all-time high, probably more so in the beginning. Sometimes it grows, and sometimes, like I said, when you might get with somebody where they may not be that attractive in the beginning, but then after a while, um, they become more attractive because you see how they see how they are, how they operate. Hold on, I think she's coming back. Uh-oh, we back?
Yay! Crazy.
He's back. All right. But I don't know if you heard. I just said that sometimes, when it comes to the sexual side of things, that sometimes people in the beginning, it's a highly infatuation type of thing. It's new, and you expressing that because it's this new energy. But then after a while, sometimes it settles in. But in other cases, you may not be as sexual in the beginning, but the person, by you being around them more, you start to gravitate to them more, and the sexual experience actually enhances as the relationship moves forward. So it can happen either way, depending on how you guys' situation are.
I mean, yeah, it could. Doesn't mean that's not one of the ways, because that's how I show
That's how
dissatisfaction.
you do it. Okay.
And I'm not that interested, and that's that from the women that I've spoken to. That's like it's like silent quitting, right? For you go to work and you're like, I'm just gonna silently quit this job, and you just hoping they pick up on it. But most jobs don't pick up on it until you do something egregious. But okay, go on, keep going, keep going.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. Now, like I said, that kind of this next one kind of actually goes under that umbrella, but just in general, people's patterns start changing. I think that in this situation, women are more keen than men because you guys, as a survival thing, and I've said this before, you are actually keen on seeing change, like I said, with babies and children and things like that. Because if you don't see the change, then something can happen where, like, if the baby might be a little sick or something like that, and you don't notice it, then the baby can die if you don't see that there's something wrong with this child. So, when it comes to relationship wise, when you see different patterns about a guy and just in general, he's just different, you know that something's wrong with what they call women's intuition. You know that it ain't right. Like you come home, you look at him, he ain't the same dude, he ain't smiling the same, you ain't getting the same energy. Women normally know this, but guys, we know these things too. But when people's patterns start to change, and as you know, and I've said this before, when people are normally in the beginning, when they establish a relationship, they make time for you. You are a priority. But when things start changing towards the end of relationships, you stop being a priority. They become less available. Things start changing. And these are one of the things that you should look at to see if, this relationship is at an end. Because if they're not making you a priority, then, how valuable are you to them anyway?
I was just going to go to that and say someone who they're cutting back amount of time that you guys are spending together, or every time you're together, you're more like an annoyance versus a welcome. You're going to be annoying sometimes. We get that. But when it's every single time, and a lot of things, when it's the end of a relationship, it's not like there's a textbook definition, right? It's going to have various things that you're going to see. But I think that falls in, I call it like a change in the force when something's not right. Before you had no problem with me looking at your phone. It was like, here. Now you're like, what you doing? what are you doing? Put the phone down.
Yep.
Now you got to take calls in private. Before, you take a call anytime. Boom. Yeah, what's up? Now it's like, you got to walk out and everything. Those things you're not familiar with seeing on a regular basis. And people will gaslight you. They'll gaslight you. They'll make you think, oh, yeah, you crazy. You tripping, da, 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 da. But don't believe that. That's a part of the tactics. I think they're trying to they don't want to leave the relationship just yet. So that's why they just don't leave. Would you, it's like trying to get a better job, but you don't leave that job until you get a better job. So you stay at that job.
Right. And like I said, that's human nature. A lot of times, like I said, I've been in relationships where, as long as everything was cool and all things were good, we were straight. But when things start happening, with maybe my financial situation or whatever the case may be, and it didn't seem like things that the future was so bright, then that's when they left. So, these are just things that you deal with, especially when people are not genuine. And for me, I look at it as when you go through trials and tribulations, this is when you actually find out what type of person that you really got with you. Because if they can't ride out the storm with you, then, hey, they did you a favor by leaving. Because I don't want nobody that's just here when the sun's shining. That's easy for anybody. But when times get rough and we going through things, this is when we really find out who's going to fight for this relationship. And is this relationship real? Because like I said, as the relationships start getting grown, then you're going to start dealing with problems on a different level that you're going to have to deal with as a couple. And if you can't deal with them, then you won't survive it. So those types of things, when people leave, when they're fleeting and all that stuff, and they, real wishy-washy, thank you for showing me before I got too deep into what I'm doing.
Right.
Okay. So you want to go to the next one? You got something else to say about that?
What's your next one?
All right, let's go. We're going to keep getting deeper in this. All right. Okay. Now the next one, and everybody has been through it, is when you arguing all the time and you have problems and issues with solving conflicts that might drag on for months or weeks or whatever the case may be. Arguments that go around in circles all the time. And fights that don't lead into empathy, intimacy, or better solutions. Sometimes people arguing is foreplay. You know what I'm saying? You might be arguing and stuff like that. And at the end of the night, you know what I'm saying? And boom, you know what I'm saying? And then it's cracking. And
that sounds toxic.
But no. Well, this is the thing too. Remember, arguing is actually a good thing if it's done respectfully, because both of you guys are communicating and you guys are expressing how you really feel. So there's nothing wrong with arguing. Arguing normally comes to solution when it's respectful. Now, when it gets disrespectful, that's when it becomes a problem, because now I'm calling you out your name. I'm telling you that, well, this girl didn't do it like you doing it. She cleaned the house way better than you. What is you? Things like that. It start getting disrespectful. So that's when, daggers start being thrown and the relationship it changes. And after you say things, and they used to say this, you should think about before you say anything 5 or 6 times before you say it, and you still may not get it right. So make sure before you start talking and saying things about your partner when you're arguing that you realize exactly what you're saying before you say it. Because after you say it, it can't come back. It's over. That you said it now. So this is how you really feel. So yeah, when you arguing all the time and you don't come up with solutions and you always in a state of arguing and conflict, then that is a very toxic situation that you said.
Right. So when I look at arguing, so yeah, arguing does have two definitions. Like one of it is when you argue is just when you state your opposite opinion. Hey, I believe the sky is blue. No, I think it's red. Boom. That is the type of argument. When I hear argument, though, I think of the other definition where it's like in a heat or aggressive way. And so for me, I'm not an arguer at all. But I'll have a discussion with you, like in the movie Baby Boy, when he says to her, he hate her, and she says she hate him too.
right before they had sex.
No, that is not for me at all. I do not. That's the quickest way to turn me off. I am not argumentative. I saw my parents argue when I was younger, so it was just I've never liked it. But I can have a conversation with you. We can talk all day long. But so I'm that individual. So for me, when I start seeing arguments, we're in the danger zone. Just because I'm not yelling. I don't go. I'm not going to do all that. We can talk. You state your opinion, I'll state my opinion, and we can have that discussion. But I can't do the argument. I can't. That's not even sexy to me to make up that way. I always thought that was so weird. Like y'all into some shit out here, okay?
Right. And what you got to understand too is like I said, there's no exact science to this. People always like it just depends on what actually turns people on, what their what their what they actually value and how they do relationships. Some people grow up in families where they argue. If you don't argue with them, they might think that you might not even care about them or anything. That's how some people work. It just depends on what their love language and things like that is. Some people, argument is attention to some people. So that's what kind of fuels people to get them going. Like I said, we're not monolithic. It's not one way to change things, but some people are like that. But like I said, when it becomes to a point to where, everything is just an argument, you guys aren't on the same page, what direction are you really going as a couple if you are arguing all the time and you're not coming up with any type of solutions whatsoever? That's when it's probably towards the end, because like I said, it's toxic. You guys are, are saying things that are hurtful. So it might be time for you to move on.
Yeah. Definitely. I can't move that any further. And then it just doesn't get any better if you both aren't on the same page.
Right.
So,
right.
I agree. I don't think I've just never been an arguer. So my first relationship, he was an arguer and he like yelled and I was like, I'm not into this. I don't like this. So I should have known from the beginning that wasn't for me. But you know how we are when we're younger. We like trouble. We want to see if we can get out of
it. Yeah, that's real.
Oh shit. All right, what's your next one?
Okay, let's keep on going. Okay. When and these are two things, like when the person does not listen to you or values your opinion, that is a sign, because when they start talking over you and don't value your opinion, then there's a lack of respect.
Yeah.
I always seen like when I would talk like towards the end, women start getting a little lightweight disrespectful, and like I said, and when you start being disrespectful with me, I'm gone, because like I said, I'm not gonna put my hands on you. I'm gonna just leave, because like I said, my presence is valuable, and if you want to start acting like that, then it's time to go, because I'm not gonna escalate this thing any further than what it is. Like I said, we could communicate without the disrespect, but like I said, and then when you're telling somebody things that you don't like and they don't listen to you, you should see that in the beginning anyway, because what are you going to get out of a relationship if they don't value anything that you want out of the relationship? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they're doing it naturally and everything is cool, then it may not need to be discussed, because they already have that in them to do that. But most of the time when you're in a relationship, you got to figure each other out. And if you can't naturally figure it out, then you have to communicate that to the other person. So if they don't listen to your opinion, if you do things that turns them off, just like for an example, I was dating this police officer lady, right?
Oh shit.
And oh, she used to fart. She used to fart in front of me and stuff. And I'm like, hey, look here, I don't like that shit. Okay. Don't fart in front of me. That's a big turnoff for me. And she thought that shit was funny. So she would be like farting and laughing. And I'm like, yeah, this is not going to work.
You could take a little Putin.
Look, I can see if it's natural. I understand it as nature, but don't be doing that shit and making a joke out of it. I don't play that shit. Look, man, I get it. It's natural. And I've probably been past, but I won't do it intentionally. You know what I'm saying? It's just, for me, it's just a turnoff. It's just unladylike for me. It's just a turnoff for me. I'm serious, man. When women they fart in front of you and stuff, I'm like, that's one of my pet peeves. I'm not on it. I'm serious. That's just that, and things like that, that's just letting me know that you don't care nothing about what I'm saying. Like, it may not mean nothing to you, but it does mean something to me. It might be a small thing, and that's an easy thing to fix. Just don't fart in front of me. Damn, can I get that?
Yes. So, ladies, whatever you do, don't fart in front of him, man. It's gonna set him off.
Please don't.
But you are right. You are right when you're dating somebody, and then there's that lack of respect, right? How they talk to you when you're out in public, in front of people. They don't think about you the way that they used to do. So, like, before, maybe this person would call you and be like, hey, I'm coming home. Do you need X, Y, and Z? Hey, I'm coming home. And all of a sudden, they just pop up with food all the time. And you're like, you ain't gonna bring me none? It's just you. So I guess you just fuck me, yeah. So it's that lack of respect. When you see it, it's becoming more and more and more. It's like, dang. And I think you have to fight the urge. One, if you see these signs, I think there's nothing more important that you can do than to talk to this person, because these signs could be wrong. We are two people going off of our situations, going off of our experiences to try to express, hey, this is why people break up. But that doesn't include people who might be going through a depression, someone who might have lost something important to them. There's all kinds of reasons. So the first thing I say is have a conversation. You start seeing these signs, talk to people, see where they're at mentally, right? And then start checking notes, start checking notes, see if you can help them or see if they actually, they care. Because some people be on the edge of not caring. And if you have a conversation, they will tell you everything you need to know.
That's real.
And they will. My brother-in-law, he would always say, men will tell you everything you need to know if you just listen. Now, why you guys don't just come out forthright and be like, hey, I don't want to be with you, I'll never understand. But
that works both ways. That works both ways.
Okay, all right. I guess you don't feel like women are forthright. We're not forthright that we no longer want to be with you guys.
Well, I think like I keep telling you, it's a human issue. It's not just a male or female. People just got issues. People don't know how to communicate. They don't see functional relationships where people go through things and resolve problems and things like that, or have an argument. And if you see like two old people, when they argue and nagging at each other, but they're communicating. You know what I'm saying? And that's just their form of communication. So you got to communicate with each other for the things to work and know what the other person needs to be, to be great. So yeah, make sure that y'all do that. Okay. All right. So the last one on this topic, and then we will move on to our other topic, that I would say is that in closing, if you're not happy, this is a sign that you need to move on. If somebody else's presence drain you and you don't even like being around them, then it's time to go, man. It's not going to work. If you know what I'm saying? You got to be happy. That's what the key is into life. If you're single or if you're in a relationship, happiness is the key to life. Don't live your time on this earth being unhappy. Do whatever makes you happy. You know what I'm saying? That's why some people, guys, they get off work. They might work all day. Then they don't even want to go home. They go to the bar, talk to their boys, until it get late at night, until they could just go home for a second and then go to sleep because they don't want to deal with the situation at home. Whether it's, the wife don't clean the crib, house nice, or whatever the case may be, kids not unruly. they don't want to be home, so that they do other things because they're not happy with their home situation. If they were happy, they wouldn't be able to. You can't wait to get home. If you happy, you want to go home and eat that good meal or whatever rocks your boat. But if you're not happy, you're going straight home. You're gonna make a little pit stop and you're gonna do other things, kick it with your boys that's going through similar situations and things like that. And that's why people do those sorts of things, because they're not happy with their home situation.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I used to work in a bar, and we will open the bar at
I forgot
5
about
o'clock.
that.
Yeah, right.
Happy hours,
I worked at a hood bar.
Right.
And I never understood. I've never been a bar person. Like I'll go out to the bar with friends, but that's like a Saturday, Friday thing, right? I've never needed to go to the bar as soon as I got off of work. I don't knock anyone who needs to do that. I just don't. And it's no shade. I just don't. But it wasn't until I started working in the bar that I would actually see people sitting outside waiting till we open. Like it's 4:30 on a Tuesday, and you are waiting till the bar comes open. And these were married men. These were men who had like a gaggle of children at home. They would be there, and let me tell you, they're there from 5 o'clock until 10 o'clock drinking. Wow. And off of work. It's just as wild. So, yeah, I agree with you. I've seen that stuff.
Okay.
They just wanted to come there, see, talk about, and they always had the, oh, my wife don't do this anymore. Don't fall for it, ladies. Don't ever fall for that. They just try and get a side piece right there at the bar.
Right. They looking for somebody to heal their situation.
They heal their situation because they're not gonna leave the situation. They're gonna stay in the situation as long as it benefits them. But yeah, they're gonna try to get a little side loving. So don't do it though. Don't do it though.
I heard that. So. Okay, so let's go to our subtopic here, and this is. I mean, hey, look, like I said, I didn't live this life, so I'm. We're gonna get some answers here today. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Our next subject is, why won't men leave before they cheat?
Yes, Chuck. Why won't y'all leave before you cheat?
Okay, and this is, like I said, this is not just a simple answer, but we will break it down a little bit for you. Okay. Now remember, just because a man cheats does not mean that he doesn't love you. Okay, guys are built a little bit different than women. Well, nowadays, I mean, a lot of them act like women, but we ain't gonna get into that right now. But just because he cheats doesn't mean he don't love you. I'm gonna just give you my situation with my first marriage. Right now, the reason why I cheated was because as a young man, I could not I had to compartmentalize between my wife and sex. I wanted a good person, but she was not a sexual object to me. And the more and more I spent time with her, she became like, we were like I told you, we was cool and all that kind of stuff, but she was not a sexual object to me. I was always used to dealing with freaks out in the streets, and this was somebody that was a little bit different. At least how I viewed her. So I kind of put her on a pedestal, but when I had sex out here, I was, I was having sex because I was used to messing with these hoes. I'm just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? And so I used other women to fulfill that. But I still did care. It didn't take away from how I felt about my wife. This was not an emotional thing that I was doing out here. This was just like basically external masturbation, I guess, that you could say, because I didn't look at my wife as a sexual object. So, that was probably the reason why I cheated. Like I said, and it all depends on why you're cheating anyway. You know what I'm saying? But on that issue, I did not look at my wife as a sexual object. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so I mean, that's why I cheated, before I left. That was one of the reasons. But we can go into like I said, some men, they might go out and cheat because they're denied sex at home. Their woman stops giving them sex, And they say, oh, okay, well, they got some side pieces that they can go to and fulfill that need. Because like I said, you want to always look at your wife as a good girl. You know what I'm saying? But then there's always, like I said, these girls out here dressing a certain way that are tempting, that are dressed showing their butt out and things like that. And it's a completely different animal than it is with dealing with your wife, because she's normally a good girl that you would like to look at her as wifey material. But then you got other girls out here freaking down. You know what I'm saying? So it was just, so as a young man, it was hard for me to deal with it.
So you look at her as she's a good girl, and so by you looking at her good girl, was like you're not going to press her for more sex because you want it.
It was like in my mind, I just like I said, in my mind, again, most of my life, I'm just looking for, I'm looking for the freaks. You know what I'm saying? And then when you get into a relationship, it's a completely different type of dynamic when you're in a marriage or you're in a committed relationship. That person is there all the time or whatever, and things it's just a little different. And not only that, I always used to I like having new. I like seeing what the surprise was at the end of the day. Like, what kind of freak is she going to be? Is she, you know what I'm saying? And this and that. It was like that Cracker Jack prize that you used to get. You know what I'm saying? It was some excitement just in having something new. So when I was in a relationship, like in my first marriage, it was like, there was no, like, I had my crib here, but then, I still was able to go and go out here and find some new things out here in the streets. And that's, that was the reason why I kind of kept that, how it was, because I was, that was just my thinking as a young man. But remember, I got married I was in my late 20s. So I was still developing how my thinking was. And I looked at the world completely different.
Okay, so I wanted to get a couple questions from my homegirl. So I had some lady inbox me some questions. And since you are the resident ex-cheater, I feel, you could be, you represent for all the men. All right.
Okay, let's go.
So this one is basically, okay, why do you guys chase a woman so much and then you finally get her and then you cheat on her?
Was that it?
That was it. There's more, but that's the rest. That's all of that question.
I mean, that's like a broad question. I mean, there's basic things that you can say about that. Like I said, the thrill all the times is in the chase itself. Mm-hmm. So after the chase is over, it's like a video game. Once you've completed the video game, why go back to level 1 and and start over again? Like the video game, I didn't felt you, and I know what you are. There's no surprise there. So, it's time for me to find another challenge. So that's why. Just like when you go on a trip somewhere, it ain't really necessarily about the destination sometimes. Like I said, I did a 30-day trip around the country, and it was just fun doing the traveling. It wasn't necessarily the destination. So that's the same thing when it comes to relationships. The excitement is in, us pursuing you, you breaking down a little bit, and then there's us dreaming about how it's going to feel when I get in there. And, and once we felt it, it's not new anymore. That's the only thing that you can't do as being a married couple. It can't be new. You can redress it. You can put, different type of sexual, panties and garter belts and all that, but you still can't be new.
But like, okay, so on one hand, you guys will be like, oh, your pussy ain't that special. All of them feel the same, right? They all feel the same. They're all just alike. But
no, that's not the truth.
They're just like, oh, no, I got to try different ones.
That's not the truth.
Which one is it?
All vagina is not the same. I don't know who said that. There is some vagina out here that do some amazing things, okay, that I've seen in my travels. All right. So all vagina is not the same. I'm just telling you. I'm keeping it real. It's not.
So her vagina could, in essence, be special. It could, in essence, be special.
Right. But see, and the thing is, too, and it ain't really about the vagina sometimes. It's about the packaging of the vagina. Like you might have some ugly girl that's funny built, and she got the best cat in the room. But then, you might have a pretty girl, and that shit is terrible. You see what I'm saying? So it's really, like I said, when we do sales techniques, right? Just like when you go to Miami Beach and you're in San Diego right now, what it is, they're going to put the same Coke, and you're a bartender. They're going to put the same drink inside of the glass, but if you put it in a pretty glass, you put an umbrella on it and a cherry, and you mix it with all these different colors, it adds value to what it is. But at the end of the day, it's still the same damn drink that it is if you put it in a paper cup. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about the dressing sometimes, you know what I'm saying, that we look at. And it might be repackaged. But like again, all vagina is not the same. And I'm just keeping it real.
So if you have so you just said, all right, so at the maximum vagina could be amazing, but you would marry a woman who has amazing vagina, right? You got that
No,
right
because
there.
well, see, that's for somebody who values vagina. I don't put vagina is not my first value. I don't care how good it is, and I've had the greatest stuff, trust me. But it's not. That's not what moves me because that's not going to sustain a relationship. Like I said, the woman that was attached to that vagina, she wasn't shit. Like I didn't, man, and didn't nobody care about, you know, like if she had great sex, she wasn't going to use that to control me because I'm more than just that. You know what I'm saying? That's not where my mind is. Now, these younger guys or guys that don't have that experience, oh, they could be sprung. And like I said, I've been watching this. We've been watching a series called 90 Day Fiance. And these dudes, I mean, they spending their whole bank accounts because they like the sexual experiences that they're getting from some of these women. So, no, if your mind ain't right, it can mess your head up just like it can mess up a woman's head when she gets that good penis in her life. You know what I'm saying? But that's not everything. That's only one component of a relationship. It's a lot deeper than that, you know, and that's how, you know, if you look at it, like that's how animals live. Like animals live on appetite and survive and thirst and quenching their appetite and things like that. No, we think about it first, you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, then you're going to be in a messed up situation because you're just trying to get a good feeling out of the situation. And that's not, you know, where we need to be. And that's kind of how I was in my first marriage. Like I said, I was just out there trying to fulfill an appetite out here that I wanted all this new stuff, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, my morals weren't right. And I destroyed my whole household because of it.
Okay. Okay. So speaking of that, this question says, did your significant other know about the cheating and just let it be? And were you or were you able to admit what you had done to her face?
You know, I didn't admit to it in the beginning. You know, I had to wait until it was actually, you know, there's no way around it. I was boxed in. Like she had contacted some of the women, you know, they was actually going to set me up.
Oh, dang.
They were going to set me up at a hotel. And the girl actually, she could go through it, but my wife contacted some of the girls that I was sleeping with because back then Nextel had a detailed billing and they had all the phone numbers and all that you call. So she went through the phone numbers that I was calling the most and started actually calling these women on there. And a couple of them, like this one girl recorded everything. I'm like, hold on, I knew you before you knew her. The hell is this shit? You know what I'm saying? She recorded me for my ex-wife. And she was about to,
I love girl power.
Yeah, man, whatever, man. I knew it. My loyalty should have. So, and you know what? No more trips.
I met a guy. He was cheating, but I didn't know that he was cheating. And he called me, and we used to talk on the phone for a grip. Like we would do FaceTime. We talked for like an hour. So I had no idea that he was with someone. And then he ended up one day. I saw this number call me, and I thought it was kind of weird. And they were like asking me questions that this person should already ask or should already know. So I was like, okay, that's weird. Next I know, they got a call from a woman online. And, you know, for her to feel the way that she feels, she was very respectful about the situation. She was like, look, you know, I'm coming to you as a woman, yada, da, 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 da. And my whole thing is like, if I meet a guy and you're cheating on your girl and I don't know that you have a girl, I'm snitching on you. I am snitching. I'm telling. I'm sending receipts. I'm sending a whole bunch of like, because you trashed to me, right? Because you made me look like a fool. Now I gotta talk to her. And I told her, I was like, look, I'll send you a copy screenshot of the text. We didn't even have sex or anything. This is where we're at, yada, yada, yada. And then he jumped off and he was like, no, she misunderstood our relationship. And she was just yelling at him. It was great. It was, let's see. Garfield said the pretty women with cat do be so trash and a lot of them just can't cook either. Just saying. I found like a lot of the handsome dudes, they be dumb, and you're just like, dang, I guess I gotta go. Like you have so much potential, but you just dumb, So
Yeah, I mean, hey, like I said, that works both ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we got to find somebody that matches our energy and somebody that's a fit, man. You know, and like I said, I mean, especially that you just growing up. I mean, you want to have your cake and eat it too. It's good that you have your good girl out there, and then she's allowing you to. That's why I think, like I said, these relationships nowadays, they're actually dysfunction is normal now. Like I said, you get a lot of people that are swingers and things like that because they're not really satisfied. Because to me, if you are completely satisfied with the person that you're with, then there's no reason why you should be out here swinging or finding other relationships or doing other things to people, outside of your marriage. That's why when I had to have the full package, somebody that I was sexually attracted to, that we connected on different levels, that was going to travel with me, no bitterness and things like that. Because if there was some dissatisfaction, then the relationship's not going to work from the beginning. I might end up cheating or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not completely satisfied with the person that I'm with. So that's why a lot of times when we settle for things that we really, you know what I'm saying, we overlook things and shortcomings and stuff like that. In the long run, it amplifies the longer that you're with that person. You might meet a person, she might be sexy, but she got this big old mole on her head. And then after a while, you're like, damn, that damn mole, man. You know what I'm saying? I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like just little things, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to make sure that in the beginning, everything is right, because if it don't start off right, it's not going to end right.
Right. All right.
Okay. All right. Well, shoot. Everybody. Champagne is in San Diego. So she about to go. She about to hit these streets.
You know it. I'm about to go put my baby daddy out here in San Diego.
Right. Hey, they got a lot of Mexican baby daddies. So
But, some of my babies be brown one way or the other.
Right. But it's funny, before you get off, man, everybody, remember, I just released Detroit Boys on YouTube. Make sure you come and you go to the channel. And everybody been telling me, like, man, I know Champagne was in your movie. You know how many people came and told me that? Go and check out Champagne in the movie. She was being herself. Okay? You didn't have to do no acting. When I brought people in, I typecasted. I knew what they was perfect for, and I knew she was going. She just slayed that part.
You know I mean, I was okay. But thanks, Chuck. Thanks, Chuck.
So go check it out. Hey, everybody, please make sure you tune in. We come on here every week, same place, same time, and we talk about issues and we try to resolve them. If you guys have any questions or any suggestions, please just make a comment or whatever the case may be. We appreciate y'all. Like I said, go to the channel, like and subscribe it, and share it with your family and friends, please. And check out the movie Detroit Boys. It's out right now.
Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great day. See you later.
Right. Peace.